Welcome back. It's March 15th, 2016. Our guest in this segment is Paul Stein, and we're going to start off by talking about a new TV show. Or not so new, but it's going to be something.
It's going to be coming up here pretty quickly. It's funny how trends always happen late. You know, like when Facebook happened, by the time you found out about Facebook, it was already like 3 years old, 4 years old. By the time you found out about YouTube, it was already like 10 years old. It's how trends happen, right? We started Freedom Free for All, a TV show, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 years ago. And we'd just film local events, and we'd kind of go out there. You know, in fact, a big inspiration was you and Steve Poole, how you put Citizens Forum back in the day. It was called Face to Face.
Yeah.
And you know, I met you many years ago, and you talked about how you do this and how you should get it up on Shaw. You know, you're really ambitious about. You're an inspiration to me, and I thought, well, that'd be kind of cool. So found out what the parameters for Shaw was, what they needed. Very Wayne's World style. It was just randomly done. We didn't know what we were doing, and slowly but surely we got our feet wet, knees dirty, learned a little bit more, got into production. The team built. There's a pretty big team behind us that, like on this set here, what the viewer sees is just the two of us, but there's actually probably 10 or 15 people that actually make this happen. So our team has been doing TV shows here for a while, kind of sporadically, on and off, just throwing them in the hopper for Shaw, local access television. And now we've just signed we've penned the ink, so to say, of a deal for to have our show aired on Shaw. It's not filmed in this studio. It's back in our own studio, a garage. And it's going to be from basically April to June. So it's 12 weeks of our content. And what we do for our show is that we live stream. It's a little bit different from this. We live stream live at 7:30 at night on Tuesday nights. And in the first half hour, we have like a new style content. And it's Freedom Free for All. That's what it's called. So it's kind of beyond borders, and we bring in ideas that we think are pertinent and prudent to today's topics. And then for the last half, we bring in a guest into the studio, very much like we're doing here. Sometimes they're Skype guests from around the world. So it's kind of like being local but being global at the same time. And so the last half of our show, the roundtable segment, which is a little bit more compact and polished and conditioned and censored, we had submitted to Shaw, and Shaw will be playing it within their local access television, just like you. So I hope some of your viewers will watch our show, give us feedback, and I think the most important thing that we have as humans is a voice. So if you have a voice, if your viewers have a voice, they don't like what they see, it's important to say it. If you like what you see, it's important to acknowledge it. So that's where we're at. It's really exciting. There's 6 guys of us that all do it. We're really excited. We're getting together after the show tonight to actually organize that 12 weeks and what it's about. And a lot of the inspiration, I say, Jack, comes from you. And, you know, I've said it before. I acknowledge what you do, man. Like new media, it's really important. It's really important to be the media, be the change you want to see. And not so much, I always say this, if you're not planning, then you're reacting. And you're a planner and you're making it happen. So many people react to the whims of the world, you know, and that's why they're always behind the times. So you bring on good content, you bring on good guests, valid topics, it's local, and I think that's what we need to combat the corporate media that just bombards our brains with what I call lies and fiction and deception, and it distorts our realities, and then our realities become our perceptions become our realities. So that's kind of what we want to do, and there's a hot topic to it. You know, freedom isn't free, it demands respect. So we try and bring that element to our show as well. But at the same time, sometimes it's important to speak your mind and say what you got to say, with the purpose of getting feedback and allowing others to hear what you're saying and to have a voice back and comment. For example, we have a little during our live stream section, we've got a little section on YouTube where people watching our show live can actually comment. And those comments, we speak to the guest. So it's not only bringing people from around the world onto the show, because we don't have the technology to have call-ins and phone lines and stuff like that. So we kind of bring in that context of outside questions into the studio for the guest to show. And we have a wide variety of guests that come on the show, and it's really quite fun.
When people watch it, at least the part that's streamed, I mean, it's like watching CBC News or CTV News. It's
Very low budget.
very, very low budget, but the effects that you can produce in your studio are
Yeah.
out of this world.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I kind of live by a motto, and it's don't worry, be crappy, just do it, and just get it done. Because so many people need it polished, and they wait and they wait. And the window of opportunity is very limited with all ideas, and I believe it's not about being the best; it's about being the first. It's about going first to cause. So I see a need, which is media, which is communication, non-corporate style. Almost reality TV, almost to the point that it's raw. I'm okay to make mistakes because that means I'm human. Whereas when you watch polished TV, there's no mistakes. It's so polished it almost looks fake. And so I kind of want to bring that back and show that these are real people talking about real topics. And the beauty about change is that it's constantly changing. Our opinion right now in this conversation, the conversation we're having might help me understand what I'm saying could be false. And I think that's an important process that humans need to hear.
I think that in this country, one of the most important things we need is an alternative to the corporate-owned media. I mean, I think most people don't realize, and I say that because for the first part of my life, I never realized, and then even for the past 10 or 15 years, as I've gotten more and more into it, I mean, at the beginning I was just skimming the surface, and you realize later on how deep the media controls us in ways that I never suspected. And the tricks they use to manipulate us, really is, it's brilliant. I mean, you know...
It's hard to explain. Words can't explain it.
Yeah.
But for example, what we're seeing with the Bernie and the Trump, the Bernie Sanders and the Trump, a lot of it is media manipulation to throw us to one side or the other, not looking at the truth, not looking at the balance of what's going on, to polarize us. That's what I was going to talk about tonight, was how the media polarizes our belief systems.
They do.
Meanwhile, what comes is the agenda.
Yes.
And the agenda always comes in.
Yes.
Problem, reaction, solution. No one ever saw the solution coming because we're so busy arguing about everything.
Yes. The media pits us against each other. I think that's one of their most important jobs, is to pit us against each other. And while we're fighting each other, as you say, they're right down the middle with the agenda.
That's right. And I see that happening. And my prediction for the U.S., what I call the U.S. circus or the election, I think Hillary will probably come through and just steal the show, because in my perception, from looking at trends, it's been the Bush-Clinton dynasty for the past 20 years. And all of these agendas, 9/11 happened on their dime, they're all profiting from it. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes. And the Sanders supporters will say, at least it wasn't Trump. And the Trump supporters will say, at least it wasn't Sanders. But meanwhile, no one will see what's going on, and that is there's an agenda beyond us. It's a business plan, it's mapped out. And as long as we're not focusing on the synthesis, the middle point, we're too busy arguing back and forth. So that's kind of what Freedom Free for All talks about, is these kind of concepts, these ideas, and how we can be proactive, seeing trends, seeing things, and avoiding the same habitual patterns. Again, if you're not planning, you're reacting. And the world is constantly reacting. The newspaper's old news. We get it, and we sit down with our coffee and we read it as if it's news. It's not, it's old news. It's yesterday's news. Right?
And not only is it yesterday's news, but you know, on television and radio, which are giving us more today's news, it's only the news they ever want us to see or hear. It's the story they want to, I guess that's what I finally realized. It's just the story that they want to tell us. Other points of view are simply not allowed. And it's very dangerous when a small group of people, because it's only a few corporations, control all the television, all the radio, virtually all the newspapers, the magazines, the books. They're big in movies and they're big in music as well. And it's all used to get their way. And we see how powerful they are. And I think, you know, you're talking about media. I don't think there's anywhere more important to be.
Well, I think like what it is it molds opinions.
Yes.
The media shapes and molds opinions. And I've said it before that I don't believe people have opinions. I think we hold opinions. And then when there's a new opinion, we put that down and we grab the new opinion. And oh, there's a new opinion, I'll grab that new opinion. Because they're constantly changing. Very few people have their own opinions from their own experience. And that's what I notice, is that the media will manipulate our emotions, which creates our perceptions of reality. And then what we do actually creates the reality around us. I always say take the 30-day no media diet. Like, we talk about all these diets in the world. Well, try actually turning your TV off for 30 days. Try eliminating all media bombardment into your brain for 30 days. Keep it between one-on-one, face-to-face human contact. Read books and see how your mind changes. See how your thoughts change at the end of that 30 days. It's much like a workout or a shake juice mix that you take for 30 days. You're like, wow, I lost this much weight. And look at my skinny tummy, right? Well, I believe what you put in your body becomes you. What you eat is what you are. Well, what you think about and what you bring into your mind and allow to revolve in your mind, you go to bed thinking about it. You wake up and you think about it. And then you live your life and you see things thinking about it. If you can't change the world, change the way you see the world. I think that's a powerful saying that I've applied, and that's helped me create Freedom Free for All. That's helped me create something else. Rather than saying, oh, the damn media this, the damn media that, and always being behind and pointing the finger and blaming why I'm not successful in life, it's like, damn it, screw it. Eliminate all that noise and just do what I want to do. Focus on what you want, not what you don't want. And again, that's what I'm seeing with this whole Bernie and Trump, is they're arguing over what they don't want rather than focusing on what they do want. Yes. And that is mind
actually,
control.
Bernie and Trump are, but the media is reporting it differently. Paul, we're at a time. Yeah. Thank you very much. Freedom Free for All.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching this week's Citizens Forum.